Hello and welcome back to Money Never Sleeps. My name is Timur from M&A Wealth. If you'd like more information about what you hear during the show, give us a call at 866-973-3627 or visit us online at mnawealth.com. And while at my website, click on the page to check out past shows and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. On today's show, we're going to discuss determining your retirement magic number. We'll also look at what retiring at age 50 with $2 million saved could mean for your retirement. A Kiplinger article, "The Magic Number Needed to Retire Comfortably is More Than You Think," has some excellent insight. The article references Northwestern Mutual's 2024 Planning and Progress study that found most respondents believe they need nearly $1.5 million in the bank to comfortably retire. The study also found the average amount U.S. adults have saved for retirement is a mere $88,400, which is actually less than 2023's $89,300. It seems that for some Americans, saving for retirement is getting harder, not easier. Consider that about 11,000 Americans will turn 65 every day through 2027. Only half of baby boomers and members of Generation X think they'll be financially prepared when they reach their preferred retirement age. The article provides more eye-opening data about how both baby boomers and Gen Xers are faring in terms of preparing retirement. Presently, just less than half of both boomers and Gen Xers think they'll be fully financially prepared for retirement. While anxiety about whether you'll be ready for retirement is normal, the fact that nearly half the members of both those generations think they're currently underprepared is alarming to me. That data also reveals that 42% of Gen Xers and 37% of boomers think, as currently situated, they'll likely outlive their money during retirement. Also, Gen Xers, as well as millennials, report they expect to need about $1.6 million in the bank to comfortably retire. And high net worth people, who are those with more than $1 million in investable assets, think they'll need almost $4 million saved to secure their ideal retirement. Here's where the data really gets interesting. On average, American adults say that they began saving for retirement around age 31. But those in Generation Z typically began saving for retirement at about age 22, or a full decade earlier than previous generations. They report they began earlier to make securing their own ideal retirement more likely. Interestingly, age 22 is 15 years earlier than the average baby boomer began saving for retirement. The article quotes a financial expert from Northwestern Mutual who notes that recent bouts of inflation pushed people to focus more on their nest eggs. Because of inflation, many people saw their financial magical number go up. So that's the data. Now let's look at some concrete steps you can take to determine your own financial magic number, or to make adjustments if you know your magic number but aren't currently situated to reach it. Step 1 is a sit down with your financial services professional. As you alluded to a few moments ago, there's no universal magic retirement number. Perhaps during your meeting with your financial services professional, your magic number will be much lower than you expect, because your home is paid off and your goals for retirement are modest. But if your meetings reveal that your magic number is higher than you expected, or if you knew your number but are running behind on reaching it, there are options. Maybe you aren't fully maxing out your 401k or an IRA. Perhaps a conversation about an annuity is warranted, though those aren't a good fit for everyone. It's also possible that a more aggressive asset allocation could help you energize your savings a bit. Long story short, you have options. Don't panic. Adjust your strategy with the help of your financial service professional, and then maintain the discipline to stick to that strategy. Next, I thought it would be interesting to walk through what having $2 million in the bank and retiring at 50 would mean for your retirement. U.S. News and World Report article, "Can I Retire at 50 with $2 million?" nicely tells the story of what this amount of money really means. And for the record, the article has a lot of excellent information, even if you aren't planning to retire at 50. If you do want to retire at 50, which is certainly on the younger side of the scale, the article suggests that your first step should be to calculate your estimated known expenses. Draft a thorough list of your annual expenses and then subtract your established sources of retirement income. This would be things like retirement accounts, and pensions. After you've tallied your expenses, you typically multiply that number by 25 to get a better sense of how much money you may want to have saved before retirement. But if you're planning to retire at around 50, the number you'd need to multiply your expenses by is at least 30, according to the article. If your annual expenses run $50,000 and you're eager to wrap up your career when you're 50, you're going to need in the ballpark of $150,000 in savings and investments. But again, this is just a jumping off point, and you'll need to consider other factors like income sources from pensions and Social Security. Another important consideration is whether you have a spouse, and if you do, whether your spouse prefers to work for several years after you retire. As I've noted on previous shows, for many Americans, retirement is lasting longer than it did for previous generations. Accordingly, you should run multiple sets of numbers because it's entirely possible that your retirement won't just last 30 years, but could last 40 or more years. Next, the article suggests using the 4% as a potential guide to address your living expenses in a way that seeks to help you avoid outliving your money. Sticking with today's theme, if you had $2 million saved and withdrew 4% each year, you'll have $80,000 annually to maintain your pre-retirement lifestyle. Let me caution, though, that the 4% rule isn't something that will work for everyone, so when it comes to determining how much you can prudently withdraw during retirement each year, I'd recommend working with a financial services professional. It's also important to factor inflation into your strategy. The fact that inflation has gone down, albeit rather slowly, from the 9.1% peak we saw in June of 2022 is a good reminder that future inflation rates are difficult to predict. Therefore, your strategy should have the flexibility to allow you to adjust to inflation as needed. If you've tallied enough work credits and paid taxes, you can file for Social Security as soon as you turn 62. However, if you wait until you reach your full retirement age, your monthly payment will be bigger, and if you work until you're 70, it'll be even larger. Retiring when you're 50 means you'll have to have enough income to fill the 10-plus year wait you'll have before you can file for Social Security. It's also important to make sure you've earned enough work credits to fully benefit from the Social Security Administration's standard practice of using your 35 largest income earning years to determine the size of your monthly benefit. Early withdrawal penalties for 401ks and IRAs are another thing that may make some people reconsider retiring at 50. Typically, the money in these types of accounts isn't readily available to you until you've reached age 59 and a half, and withdrawing money before you reach that age often comes with a 10% penalty on top of the taxes you'll also owe on the withdrawal. If you want to retire at 50, I'd urge you to meet with your financial services professional to build income sources that will position you to leave your IRA and 401k money untouched until you're 59 and a half, outside of an emergency. If you have any questions about your retirement magic number, your retirement strategy, or any other parts of your financial strategy, visit my website at mnawealth.com or call my office at 866-697-33627 to discuss how my team might be able to answer your questions and address your concerns. It's our goal to help you prepare for the retirement you've worked so hard for.
Disclosure: all matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of M&A Wealth and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, M&A Wealth makes no representations as to its accuracy or completeness. This commercial shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or advisory services to residents where permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through M&A Wealth, a registered investment advisor in the state of Texas. Insurance products and services are offered through PNC Life Insurance Agency, an affiliated company. M&A Wealth and PNC Life Insurance Agency are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government.